Hello, this is Virginia Jones, and this is my portfolio, which I have titled Writing Through the Years. Um, I chose to do a video for my portfolio. I chose to do a video for my portfolio. I would have loved to found a way to include my face as I spoke with the slideshow, but even just finding a way to record my voice along with the slideshow is really it's top notch for my level of technological capabilities. But I did include a picture so you can see what I look like. This is actually a senior photo of mine because I am a senior currently. I am not a full-time college student yet. I am a part of my school's concurrent program, and that's how I am taking these composition classes. I just included a little bio. Up here it says about me, but I couldn't figure out a way to move this. Um, I am already enrolled for next year at NOC, and I'm going to be a mass communications major. A little bit about me. I love the arts, band and vocal, I sing, I play the flute, I'm drum major, I am always busy, I'm always doing something. This is also the same thing that is on my Weebly, so if you want to go look at that, it's the same thing there. But a little bit about me is I have always really liked English class and writing and learning new information, so I have really enjoyed my college experience so far. What this portfolio represents to me, this shows how I have progressed as a writer and a student. It reflects how I, as a student, receive and complete different types of assignments. It shows how confident and comfortable I am with writing, and it shows my strengths and my weaknesses. For my first artifact, I chose my junior year literary analysis of Pretend She's Here. It's a great book. I decided to start in my junior year because that's whenever I had already learned the basics of writing an essay, and I was actually starting to apply those basics. So I thought it was a really good example of the starting point of where I've started writing my essays. This was close to the end of my junior year last year. The type of essay it was a literary analysis. This essay represents book report type writing. While it could be seen as less individualized, I put a lot of thought and time into making my own unique points. Going into this, my attitude, I was very excited for the assignment and I worked very diligently. I actually got it done pretty quickly because I am an avid reader. I've always loved, I'm a big bookworm, and I got to choose a book that I have already read, so I already knew that it was a really good book and it had a complicated plot and theme and characters. So I included a picture of the book if you want to see. Punji's here. I totally recommend it. It's really great. This level, as I said, it was kind of my first serious essay where you follow an outline, you do everything, it's big grade. I think this was my final for my junior class. This essay consisted of reading a chapter book or novel and analyzing the plot, themes, and characters. This essay needed a lot of organization and utilized following many directions in a suggested outline, which is new to me at the time. It gave me the experience of taking different aspects of a book and forming a coherent piece of writing that not only highlighted the different literary techniques, but showed how they worked together, which was pretty complicated because previously in English classes you're just learning the basics, how to form your sentences, how to do the coherent piece, so I thought that was a very interesting part of this assignment. It required sources. The main source is we had to get all of our evidence from the book itself, and then we also had the choice of adding other sources, which I did, and then citing the sources. With the sources, we had to learn how to embed quotes and in-text citations, so this essay shows my first attempts at that, learning how to do it, applying that knowledge. And it also had length requirements, which this was one of my first assignments that actually had, I think it had to be at least 500 words, I believe, which at the time seemed like a lot, but now in college it's really not that much. For the second artifact, I chose a essay from my last semester in Composition 1. It was an argumentative essay. I can't remember if this was in the beginning of it. I can't remember if this was in the beginning of the semester or the end or kind of towards the middle, but I do know it was last semester. This essay represents using different arguments to prove an argument that words are important and have big impact, writing in defense of people. My attitude going in, it says right here, this was my 4th college essay, and I was getting into the rhythm of doing things. I've already practiced, I already did stuff. I was excited to show support of people who have issues from words. I like that it wasn't just a very general topic, that I actually got to choose something that I believed in, that everybody has rights and everybody has feelings, and words have impact on that. And I remember kind of being doubtful of the outcome, just because with argumentative essays, you always have that doubt of, did I argue it good enough? Is it good enough for college standards? But in the end, I was very happy with how it turned out. This level, I feel it was your average Composition 1 essay. I do know that it needed a lot of source material, which was one challenge in doing it. I felt that this essay consisted of personal beliefs to construct the foundation of the paper. The use of several scholarly sources was required, which created some challenge in combining the initial personal thoughts with scientific and scholarly material. So, as we see here, it required at least 6 sources and at least 3 or 4 to be scholarly sources. So that was by far, this assignment was the first one where I had many sources to go about to find, to get information from, and it was my first time ever interacting or finding scholarly sources. So that was a big learning curve, but I actually found the experience to be quite fun. I feel that this represents my writing skill at the time, and I remember being very proud of the outcome. It was, as I said earlier, the most advanced essay I'd written, and it had other requirements, time management, and I think it really helped me advance in my college writing career. My 3rd artifact that I chose was one from this semester, My Pillars for Being a Good Neighbor. The type of essay it was a persuasive essay with 800 to 1200 words. It represents writing a persuasive essay on my beliefs and on what makes a good neighbor. This encouraged me to think about a new aspect of life that I hadn't previously considered. This was also the longest essay I ever had to write. So this essay, I thought was very interesting because as a person, I had never really considered my neighbors themselves, so it was a fun new topic to write about that I could do research and think about, just something I hadn't normally thought about. My attitude, I entered it very apprehensive. This was my first essay for this semester. It was a new teacher, Mrs. Davis, new standards, new requirements. I don't really know how she grades, or you grade if you're watching this. I wasn't really sure, exactly what you like, what you didn't like. So I was very apprehensive. And it was my first Composition 2 level essay. I feel that this essay gave me the experience of researching for and writing an annotated bibliography. I had never even heard of an annotated bibliography previously, and this was a very new thing. I was like, what? This essay was the first proper persuasive essay I have written. I enjoyed being able to prove a point without having to argue or provide a counter-argument, because in general, a little fun fact about me, I am not a very confrontational person. I'm very much a mediator, so that is always the main struggle I have with argumentative essays, is the arguing part. For my last artifact, I chose our very most recent essay, America's Food Waste Issue and Solutions. That was the topic I chose, and I'm really happy that I decided to go with it. I think it worked out very well. It was an argumentative essay, and it represents a lot of research on a topic I was not familiar with at all. I never really considered food waste. As I get older, as I'm going into college, I'm becoming more politically aware and more environmentally aware of the issues anyways. So I thought that this topic came at a really good time to start expanding my knowledge. And for me, this was a huge assignment. It required me to manage my time seriously, and time management was a big part of this assignment. My attitude going into this, I was very interested in the topic of food waste, but looking at all the work was a little daunting because writing an annotated bibliography for every single source, and I had to find sources that I wasn't familiar with. The level, Composition 2, paper required a full outline, annotated bibliography, and works cited page. This paper required me to slow down my process and take a lot of time on this assignment to do it properly. I know that as a worker, I tend to get everything done. I am not a procrastinator at all. I work ahead most often, but with this essay, it really required you to take your time finding each and individual source. This paper gave me the experience of making a thorough and complete outline before starting the paper itself. This also gave me the experience of looking for many different types of sources and choosing what would best fit my argument. This was also my first time making an annotated bibliography for several different types of sources. The paper made me think very independently and use my brain to come up with solutions to a problem that is not an actual issue, because it was, what would you do to fight food waste? So it required a lot of research and thinking, and I'm really happy. Me as a writer, how I've grown as a writer. I feel that I've grown as a writer tremendously in the last 2 years. I went from just writing down whatever I thought to piecing together information with several techniques. These techniques I've learned have also helped me increase my productivity as a writer. I have memorized formats that make writing an essay easy and smooth. I have also increased the types of essays I am able to write and how to organize them. So all in all, I feel that I have learned everything that I have been taught. I have absorbed the information, and it's not just something that I used when I needed to, then forgot it. I know this will stick with me for a while. In a literate sense, I have always been a giant bookworm, and I have always been an avid reader. This allowed me to have more of a natural inclination for writing, grammar, and structure in any English class. Now I have experience applying rules to writing and know for sure what is right and wrong. So it's really nice to be able to just take, oh yeah, I like books, to being able to analyze them. That was very fun. My toolbox, you can't see, but it says my toolbox. The things that I consider most important when writing an essay is having an outline to follow. It's so incredibly helpful, and when teachers give it to you, use it. Using a schedule is very important to me. I always make my own little private schedule that is based off of what the teacher's schedule gives you, and I think that's really important for time management. Something that I think is a little more unique to me is that I use what I call a catch-all document, or sometimes I call it an outline for my outline, and it's basically a Google Doc or a Word doc or anything where you just, no matter what source you find, no matter what idea you have, you put it into that document. So if you find a website and you're like, oh, that could be helpful, copy and paste the link into the document. It's kind of a mess, but it's really reassuring to me to know that every single thing that I could use or have used in my essay is all in that one place, just in case you lose it or something like that. So I really appreciate that. I always do my body paragraphs first because I really, I want to say I struggle. I don't like introductions and conclusions because I've never liked them very much. I always do my thesis first, but the introducing the topic and then restating the topic, it's not my thing. So I always just get the body paragraphs done first. Tutor.com is something that I learned recently this year, becoming an NOC student. It's really great. I love it. And then, as always, reading your essay out loud so you can hear those mistakes, you can hear those grammatical errors. I think that's very helpful. My strengths and weaknesses, I feel that my strengths are time management. finding sources, organization, supporting arguments, and of course just the passion for writing. I know it's really hard to do a good assignment when you don't like what you're doing. So I am glad that I'm still able to have that passion and that I don't look at writing these assignments as a tedious thing. My weaknesses are probably proper tense, or really I should say point of view, because every single teacher I've had has required me to use a different point of view, so sometimes that can get a little confusing and I find myself having to go back through my paper and changing everything. And then, especially in this class, avoiding those like incorrect, or I don't want to say dirty words because that implies bad words, but using the words very a lot. That's something that I still struggle with a little bit. For the future, I think I'm well prepared for future writing assignments. I anticipate having to write more essays about various topics for my bachelor's degree. And I'm really happy with how this year has gone, and I'm excited to be a full-time college student. If you have any questions or you just want to talk, feel free to email me. Here's my email, jennyjo415@gmail.com. I appreciate you for watching this and listening to this. And I hope that you have a great rest of your day wherever you are. Thank you.